Hi again, this is Rick with AmazingAccuracy.com, and today is September 29th, 2021. It's currently 12:23 p.m. Chicago time. All right, in this video we're going to talk about the Canadian dollar futures. It's probably been 1.6 million years since I last talked about this particular market. So we should get right into it. Now, as you can see here, I have a candlestick chart of the Canadian dollar, and it's set to the monthly time frame. That's that M button you see right there, monthly prices. And what I want to draw your attention to in this long-term trend is that it had been trading bearish for a very, very long time. This here is the 55 EMA that you see, that lavenderish, purplish line right here. And these three here are EMAs of the Fib numbering system, 8, 13, 21. Why I chose those? Because I like Fibonacci. So I do it with all my indicators. I like plugging those numbers in. For good or for bad, that's what it is. Anyway, so what we have here is clearly with the red, white, and blue upside down, where you have red at the bottom, then white, then blue, and then here, this is clearly bearish. And of course, it stayed bearish all the way down until you can see that the lines went red, blue, white here, then red, white, blue, just as it was kissing the 55 month EMA here, and then it went right back down again. So this line has really held resistance for quite a long time, and as long as the market traded below it, we can safely say that the long-term trend in the Canadian dollar futures is bearish. But then things changed not too long ago. I'm moving the chart over to the left here, and we can see that back over here in this time frame here, this looks like we're looking at December of 2020, things took a turn. We see that we started closing above the 55, and of course the red, white, and blue then is in top to bottom order here, which is bullish, and it has moved all the way up until we get to the topping of June, which is right here. Now I've plotted 180-degree time and price squares. For those of you who are GAN followers, you know exactly what these are. It's based on 180 degrees from the very high of the Canadian dollar in the month of June, which is this price bar right here. And we've fallen all the way up until last month, August, where it found support on one of the descending square lines that you see here. This month, September, has been an overall bearish month as well, but so far it's been contained within the August monthly bar. And this is also a cycle time period in which it is expected likely to reverse trend for the time period here of August, September, and October at the latest. This time frame right here, that's why I'm swinging my mouse around like this, because this is just kind of the center point of the time frame where we would expect some kind of resumption of the upside here. And if we can stay above this, which right now we are trading on or above this 55, that is a good thing. Of course, the alternative thing that could happen, of course, is that the monthly could continue down, and then we would return back to its bearish nature that it had all the way up until this point at the end of 2020. But while we have this cycle period expected here for now, and we have this support here, I'm optimistic that we could see a resumption of the bullish towards the end of this year, December or January, which would be the beginning of 2022. All right, so that is the monthly picture. While we are on or above the 55, we like to call that a bullish indication. So we're going to give this monthly a bias of bullish, in spite of the fact that we are currently in a correction at this time. And that's a correction of this run up, and then it's correcting at this time. All right, weekly chart. Yay. Here we go. All right. Now, the weekly chart, of course, is 1/4 of that of the monthly, pretty much 4.3, but we don't need to be too exacting. And as you can see, after it was kind of indecision time here through 2019 and into 2020. 2020, of course, had the bad news, something going on around the world, people, being afraid of something or another. I can't quite remember what happened in 2020. Right. Anyway, and of course, we saw prices reacting, in funny ways across the board. But anyway, the Canadian dollar was no different. But coming around June, it started recovering. As you can see here, I have these trigger indicators in my software, and it turned blue here. And then we saw the red, white, and blue kind of go from top to bottom. Then it went above the 55, and we've been trading above that since August of 2020, all the way until here, which was June of 2021, when we've already saw on the monthly chart, we are in a correction period right now. All right, well, we may be looking at the end of this correction as prices come down to the 55. Maybe it'll dip even a little bit more like it did here. We'll talk more about that when we go to the daily. But right now, there's good probability that we could see this market now start to bounce back up again. Now, that would be good for what we just looked at, the monthly, to continue that long-term bullish trend. And it would also continue the weekly bullish as prices remain above the 55. But then we go down to my F dates, which I've been using since 1996 and which is offered within my membership. And we see that we ended up with the last weekly swing top here, week ending 9/3, where that rally ended right where we had the F date. We were expecting that to occur. It did occur, and now it's come down, and we see that we have confirmed a higher swing bottom, and it is within 1 bar of the next weekly turn date, which is showing here for 10/1. This was last week, 9/24, so it's right there in that plus or minus 1 bar area. So there is good probability that we could see this holding here, this low area, and a resumption of the bullish. Also, another thing too with this indicator, you can see right here this red down arrow was an indication that we were going into a bearish move. Again, this is a trigger indicator that is part of my software. You can see it's clicked on right here, trigger indicator. And I like it because it kind of gives you these little arrows and gives you an indication of where the bias is in the market. Not so useful when you're going sideways, of course, but then when you start actually moving in a direction, you start seeing the EMA start to fan out. Then it becomes really useful because it gives us early indication things may be flipping like it did here. All right, so we see that here within the second bar indicated down, blah, 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 down, down, down. So when might we see a blue one come up? Well, the nice thing about this is this program does tell us that this area right here with this dashed line, you can see the price is right here, 0.7929. If the market trades above 0.7929 during the next price bar, not this one, but the next price bar, which happens to be next week, that's week ending October 8th, right? That sounds about right. Let's see. This is week ending 10/1. Yep. So the next one is week ending 10/8. So if week ending 10-8 trades above this line here, then we're going to end up with a blue up arrow, which will be a strong indication that we are resuming the bullish, because prices are already sitting on the 55 EMA, and the EMAs here, the red, white, and blue upside down order. It's compressed. It's not fanned out like this. So for it to revert back to a red, white, and blue top to bottom is not going to take more than maybe 1-2 bars, and boom, we're back to an overall bullish indication. So right now we're just anticipating that in advance, because we're still in a support area based on this lavender, purple, or very dark pink line, however you want to call it. All right. And so just remember that next price bar, next week, we go above that 7929 in the Canadian futures, not Forex, futures, that we will get a blue upward bullish indication. All right. So we kind of get an idea that the trend is bullishish for both the monthly and the weekly overall, but they both are in a correction phase within their bullish move up. Now we go to the daily. All right. The daily, of course, is going to move a whole lot faster. I believe 5 times faster than the weekly, right? 5 days within a week? Yes. All right. So as we see, everything has been recently bearish because we are in that pullback. This pullback right here on the weekly. Okay. So since this part right here where we can see the EMAs crossing the downside, then everything started to trade and close below this lavender line here. We see we got the last trigger indicator down here on June 28th, and it had gone all the way down until here, and then we got it going boop, 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 and then it did it again here, and then it did it again here to here. Pretty neat little indicators, I tell you. You grab some real good scalping, 10-day scalps, 5-day scalps, whatever. Of course, anyone who knows what a scalp is, there's no such thing as a 5 or 10-day scalp. But you know what I'm saying? Very short-term swing trades. And right here, as you can see, I use the same indicators on all 3 time frames. And right here, this low is 920. Again, finding resistance at the 55 EMA, pretty good one. See, the fib numbers work. Come on. And now it's pulling back. You see it's pulling back. We got this down arrow thing here. That's fine. So we are in a correction here. Where might it go? Well, first off, let me just show you that we had this little F date here. So that's what that swing top is here. It could go to this next one here, which is 10-5. That'd be next Tuesday or maybe Monday or Wednesday, around that time frame. All I care is it's within 1 bar of this area right there. That's good for me. But prices are currently correcting. It could stop correcting right here the market's going to do what it wants to do, and then this could be a top. I mean, who knows? So we don't worry about this until we get there. And in this case here, the question is, do we think that this market is going to move below this low here? I'm leaning towards no, and that's the 920 low, and I'm going to show you why in a moment here. But that blue line again is indicating what tomorrow would need to cross above in order to trigger another one of these blue arrows here. So we get to know in advance the price level to look for, which I really find to be cool and awesome, because it shows that we're not that far away from that line right now. And, it could happen tomorrow or the next day. And of course, this will adjust day by day as well. If it's not crossed up tomorrow, then it will readjust and so forth. But anywho, so I'm going to be looking for an end of a correction around here somewhere. And the resumption, I'm going to be looking for prices to go above the 928 high you see right here, which is at 0.7939. And I'm going to show you why that I'm going to be looking for that, okay, real soon here, and why I really am suspect that we will probably not go below this low. It could. Nobody knows the future, right? But we're going to work with probability here. Let me show you why. I'm going to go now to my swing bars chart. And this might be alien to a lot of you, but what it basically is showing you is the 1-bar swings in this market. So if you have a confirmed swing, it makes this pattern, and you have a bottom, top, bottom, top, bottom, top. Now, what I want to direct your attention to is if you look at where we are now, right here, we're actually coming back down, I believe. Let me take that off. Let's see here. Okay, this is today's price bar, which is the 929 price bar. I put this in manually because I don't get my data until 7 o'clock Central Time in the evening. It's end of day data. So when I want to see what things are doing, I just enter it myself using the what if tool, which is right here. You just pluck your prices in, and it puts a price bar matching what you entered right here. But as far as this software is concerned, this has not happened yet. And so this swing top that you see that has in fact confirmed because of today's price bar is not yet going to register here with one of these, you know, go across and downs. But tonight, when I download my prices, this will draw in. Okay, so this matches this, matches this. You can see these extremes, dip, dip, dip. And what I like first off here is that while it was going lower, this one went higher. This is the first indication something is up, all right? But the next thing is, if you see these, what happened? You made this bottom, you came up here, and you went top, bottom, that did not go below here, and then you exceeded the top that you had here, and we exceeded the top we had here. You see that? So it pulled back and then went higher above the pullback high. That's all we care about. It came up, made the topping, these two here, and then exceeded it to make its top before it pulled back again. Look at this one. Here it made this big old dip down, came up, made a high, pulled back, right? Then it exceeded the high before it made the other high. So we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is not Elliott wave, by the way. This is just a counting sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4. So come here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're in this one here, 1. We're pulling back. We're going to make 2 in here. Like we did here, it didn't go below here. Like we did here, it didn't go below here. I suspect we'll do it here and we won't go below here. That's why I believe we won't go below here on this current pullback. And then if it follows these last two patterns here, it will go up and so it'll make a 3 and then a 4. And so that means right here, this pullback or this swing top that we just confirmed is likely to be exceeded. So let's go and have that chart put back here. This high right here is likely going to get exceeded when this stops its pullback here somewhere. It's going to go up for that 1, 2, 3, 4. And look where you're going to be if you exceed here. You're going to be above the 55 EMA, and because these are all compressed and so close together, it is likely going to revert and go back to a red, white, blue above the 55. And of course, we've already mentioned if we trade above this line here, we're going to flip the old arrow from this red back to a blue. We're going to have all these indications here that we may be looking to surf above the 55 for the near term, making the daily bullish that will go along with the weekly bullish, which will go along with the longer term monthly bullish. And there you go. What can I tell you? If you happen to be an option trader, for example, then you know you've got a great opportunity for buying calls or spreads or whatever to take advantage of what is likely going to be a resumption of the weekly and monthly bull trends. And if you are a short-term trader, then if you trade, for example, the Forex market, just remember that the USD CAD Forex pair for the Canadian dollar, trading the Forex, it trades in the opposite direction, inverted. So as we're going to be looking for the Canadian dollar futures to likely go bullish here real soon, well, that would be the opposite for the USD slash CAD, which we would be expecting it to start turning down here really soon. Okay, well, hey, thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be notified in advance of any of my future videos that are uploaded. Click the notification bell so you'll know that I have uploaded that video. And check out my website if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.